manipulate DNA with nutrition, things that were epigenetically expressing in the body. And I got off of all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs. That's sort of how my journey started. It was very rough one in the beginning. And as I learned more and more, then I started building apps where chronically ill people were coming to me and having me look at their different genes and how different combinations and environmental toxins impacted genes and caused them to epigenetically express, and how we could manipulate things with nutrition. It brought me down this huge rabbit hole to where I started studying how environmental toxins like glyphosate, Roundup, and excipients and adjuvants in vaccines, managed DNA in children with autism, and many of the chronically ill. It brought me down another rabbit hole of people who were damaged by fluoroquinolone, Cipro, and Levaquin. And now I'm going down the rabbit hole of what is going on with 5G and how DNA.
That's a scary topic too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. With what I know, it is absolutely terrifying, but there are things we can do to protect ourselves. And if we don't protect ourselves, you know, a lot of things can happen here. But there are ways of protecting yourself so you don't have damage to your DNA.
Oh my God, what happened here?
But are you, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm sorry. I accidentally hit a button and I didn't know where everything went. I just found us again. Again, this is Free Range, and this is Sterling Hill, and we're talking about the health effects of 5G, and she was giving some of her background. And please continue, Sterling.
Okay, well, now we're looking at 5G and stuff and seeing how we get damaged, but going down this rabbit hole of 5G and seeing how DNA can be damaged by microwave radiation, it brought me to square one, how many things that were put into our environment around the mid-90s, not only into our environment like chemtrails, but antibiotics and also contaminants in vaccines and Roundup, can actually turn into catalysts to what radiate when radiation is involved, how the damage that does can also accelerate damage with radiation out there now with smart meters, 5G and everything.
It seems as though all of this is working synergistically against our health. We have the GMOs, we have the glyphosate, we have the 5G technology now, which increases radiation. We have chelation of minerals because
it's all the perfect storm.
It goes on, and I'm going, oh my goodness, what can we do?
Yeah,
but
I know. I will. You know, a lot of people that are all science and not spiritual do not understand that frequency is going to be key here. Good, healthy frequency, and I'll get into that. And as I talk about this, you'll understand how in the mid-90s, when all this was being thrown at us, it almost seems like, you know, hey, was this actually planned? Was this set place to now bring in the smart meters and the cell towers and the 5G, and boom, this explosion. And you'll kind of learn how actually another friend of mine that follows me, so we follow one another on social media, Alethea Black, put it best. She's a writer, and she said, Sterling, they're stealing our light. And
stealing our light, yes, the photonic light, because it's dehydrating it's going to dehydrate the cells. The cells are chelated inside of the cell in a crystal formation. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, and it's actually stealing what makes you you. It's almost like it's, you know, not I don't like sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but when I lay it all out to you, you're going to see like they're trying to steal our souls. I mean, it's actually eerily, it's evil, it's sinister, and we've got to stop it. And one of the most important ways to do this, even though we have to bring this darkness into light, we have to love. At the end of the day, we do need to bring this darkness into light to make it become light, resolve it. But we have to love. We have to admit love.
That brings our vibration up. That brings the vibration of the planet up, because it works like the 100th monkey effect. The more people raise their vibration, it's all about frequency and vibration.
Yeah. And when I started learning this, that's how I looked at DNA. We're all our own. If you could look at DNA, you can make music with your DNA, and we're all our own song. We're unique. We're individual, and basically, they're trying to split us all.
I read somewhere that we all have our own song.
Yeah, we do.
Our DNA, because of the uniqueness.
We're all unique. We all play on a different tune, and if you kind of look at DNA, you see, without getting too techy, ATCG. It's like a code, and then like your code's flipped a little different than mine. That's why you're a little lighter skinned than me. That's why our faces are shaped a little bit differently. That's why our eye colors are different. Our hair colors. I mean, to the one little crooked tooth here, the little spot right here that was passed on from your father. I mean, we're all unique, and it's amazing. Even an identical twin, to be technical with you, is unique. Even though an identical twin shares the same DNA, that twin that stays up all night and eats hot dogs versus the twin that eats very healthy and has a good circadian rhythm and sleeps at night, that twin that is doing the staying up all night and eating the hot dogs is going to have more epigenetic expression of DNA. Things will turn on and start running where their gut microbiome was helping them, and now that they've destroyed their gut microbiome and their circadian rhythm, other things are turning on and off for them that the other identification doesn't have turned on or off. So it's pretty interesting.
Could you turn your volume up just a little bit?
Just a little bit. How about if I get a little bit closer here? Can you hear it? Because I think
yes, that's a little better. Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay.
I don't have the best hearing around. So anyway,
it might be my computer. So hopefully you can hear a little bit better now.
It's better now. Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'll stay a little closer. If I get a little too far back, just remind me. 5G is going to be a monster. We are emitting so much microwave radiation on our planet right now. And this is a very negative, damaging frequency to not only humans, but living things on planet Earth. Our puppy dogs, our birds, our kitty cats, everything's impacted.
I've heard of birds falling out of the sky in areas where they were testing 5G. Just falling down dead.
Wasn't that Norway? Was it Norway, I believe? It was somewhere, I think Norway, where the birds did.
Oh, yeah, I think it was Norway, yeah.
Yeah, they turned on the 5G, then the birds just started falling, and people were yelling. Within a couple hours, they realized what had happened. They turned it off. Well, I know, I wonder when it went on there, because I do know that once you hit 8G, planes can't even fly in the sky, much less anything with wings. So,
wow.
Yeah, this is scary. And what we resonate into the universe comes back at us. Like attracts like. I mean, if you look at the stars, we know stars are not these burning balls of light that they once told us. Their frequency, they have their own song, they have their own music. and they feed the universe. So if we're sitting here on planet Earth feeding all this bad negative frequency out into the universe, that's coming back at us. And I don't believe, I mean, I don't believe that other beings out in the universe really appreciate us doing this.
Oh, I'm sure they don't. Why would they? It's to all life, really.
Yeah, we're all interconnected. Our universe is interconnected. Our solar system, our stars. It's sort of hard for many people to believe this, but to kind of think that you are the only planet out there or the only force out there,
with life on it.
in my opinion, you have a God complex.
Yes,
if you think that.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way, but that's true.
Yeah.
There are definitely other beings out there in the universe that we will be able to converse with until they feel that they can trust us. And my goodness, with all the different destructive things that we have been engaged in, not us personally, but the powers that be, so to speak, it's very concerning.
Yeah, it really is. And, I wasn't too awake until about 10 years ago. And, well, I was always, throughout childhood, yeah, I was the little out the box thinker and a little different from everybody. But I had life moving, altering events happen. And, many people who follow me on social media, they'll see pictures and they'll see video where I've got these wonderful balls of light that just flying around me, and
oh, the orbs, yes.
Orbs. I'm orb central,
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I mean, I could have sometimes just one or two just flying around, and you can see them with the naked eye. And I mean, these energies are coming from somewhere else. They're not, just.
I've had orbs turn up in pictures that I've had too, and sometimes I swear I could see a face in them.
Yeah, if you see some of mine, you will see faces and sometimes numbers. I get a lot of numbers and orbs. Numbers come to me. They just fly out at me. So it's pretty.
Being a mathematician that you are, that doesn't.
Yeah, I know. Pretty math whiz, but don't even get me with Common Core because that's not math. That's teaching.
I don't know what that is. That's a foreign language.
Fly in box, so they don't awaken and expand their mind. So very interesting that we have all these energies around us, and some people can tap into them and some people cannot. And it was so life-changing seeing all this happen, because I used to have people come out at me, oh, that's evil, and I'm like, well, I have nothing but love around me. I don't feel nothing's coming in my house and beating me up, throwing me across the room, whatever. I feel wonderful. I feel happy because of all this energy around me. I've gotten to learn so much more. I've learned how DNA works like almost no other. It's almost like an art that I do, where a geneticist will come out and say, oh, you have this APOE gene and you are gonna die of Alzheimer's. Where I look at things in a different way. I see a bunch of combinations and I see, oh, you have these 5 different things and this isn't flowing this way, so maybe your beta carotene that you get out of your carrot or your sweet potato, you're not going to convert but 80%, but then I see this other gene over here that you can't have this synthetic A, you have to have actually A from cod liver oil because it's going to build up toxic in you. But I can see all these combinations and I put it together like an art, and I think it's a gift, and I think it's a gift that I got. All this beautiful energy around me has taught me how to harmonize and kind of put things together and look at them. It's really interesting. Whereas a lot of the science community out there, I believe that knowing science without spirituality is very deadly and dangerous, but knowing spirituality and how to respect science. And if you actually look at science, it's spirituality. And
Combined.
yeah, it's you know, that like, like, you know, we know people, certain people, for instance, like me, they get energies around them. The energies are attracted to them. You can see energies just coming out of them sometimes. You can catch it in photo and film. And, you know, where they would call that, you know, with like witchery and witchcraft years ago. And now they're like, no, that's, oh, you're crazy. Well, you know, how can you be crazy if it's being caught on film and stuff? And, you know, oh, that's just crazy talk. But it's actually those energies, if you tap into those energies, but the right ones, because there's always good and bad, you can learn so much. And if you get on the good side, you can learn how to help, heal, and love people, you know, and everyone around you, and other creatures around you as well. So
that's what we want to do here, is to help people.
yeah, we want to help people. So we need to know a little bit about 5G and what's happening here. 5G is more microwave radiation that's being thrown at us, and it is a frequency that we really don't resonate with. And I believe it is impacting Earth, Mother Earth as well, all the radiation that we're putting out there. And a lot of people don't understand. They'll hear me, you know, typing and yapping about this hurts and that hurts, but then they're like, but 5G is only gigahertz. Why are you yelling 50 hertz? Well, what they don't understand is the more and more radiation that we've put out there, we're seeing Mother Earth wake up and become angry. That's one of the reasons we're seeing things like earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff. And to kind of understand it, you know, everybody kind of knows about the Schumann frequency. Well, most people do that are into, you know, metaphysical and try to connect with Earth. And we were at 7.83 hertz since 1952 that we know of. And 7.83 hertz is theta, that's deep sleep. So that tells us Mother Earth was in deep sleep. And around 2012, all of a sudden we started jumping between 14 hertz. And, you know, as you see, cell towers were being put up, more radiation here, Doppler radar, all this radiation coming from everywhere, all of it affecting our atmosphere and Earth itself, the inner core of Earth. And 8 and 14 hertz is alpha. That's where Mother Earth was then put into REM, a dream state. And then around 2015, you know, we see jumping between 10 and 20 hertz. Still, that's Mother Earth waking up. She's in a sleep, but she's trying to wake up. And then we get to 20 and 30 hertz around 2016. And once you hit that 30 hertz, try to explain that the human brain and every brain of every living creature on this planet has resonated truly with 7.83 hertz brain. You get to 30 hertz, and what can happen is the criminally insane become more criminally insane. And then we see around, you know, 2016, 2018, it's jumping in between 30 and 40 hertz, flip-flopping. And now we're spiking between 40 and 50 hertz. And the more we out there, yeah, 40 and 50 hertz. And for instance, at 50 hertz, Epstein-Barr virus becomes activated. And many other herpes viruses can too. They've proven this. You can go on PubMed, and you can, if you're a PubMedder, and you can go there and you can find studies from 1995, 1997, where they showed Epstein-Barr viruses can be activated. we know 58, hertz, and then 5.8 gigahertz, for example. The mother of all flus can come out. And when you go back and look at the 1911 Spanish flu, about 9 months before, radio towers were put all over the planet. And this flu, then boom. And when you look at the flu, it's, if you look at your body, it's like this computer code, ATCG. And you look at what the flu does, it'll come in, drop it in your DNA, and it starts kind of doing its thing. And what we've learned is that sometimes flus will hit when something major environmentally has changed, and with our planet and with us being on our planet, sometimes that flu will come in to kind of do a upgrade for you.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I can kind of do an upgrade for you. And hey, if you're super sick, you might not survive that upgrade. So we've got to be careful. So what a lot of metaphysical people have realized, since Earth's frequency is raising, we've got to raise our vibrations, and what, you quite often see me on social media when I start preaching this stuff. You need to start waking up, because if you don't wake up, you're going to be forced to wake up, and you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it physically, and you are not going to like it mentally. So we've got to get people to wake up, because these people will not fare too well. Those will be the criminally insane that become more criminally insane, the mentally ill that become more mentally ill. And, if they're not awake, if they're still, watching their football games, and they're eating their Cheetos and
GMO foods
from the doctors,
vaccines.
Yeah, and their vaccines, they are not going to upgrade so easily. It's hard. So, we've got to look at this too, and then we got to look at 5G alone, what we've seen with people like Dr. Paul, and also like Ken Rolla, many of them coming out. We know some not so nice things can happen. And on my part, I know just about DNA alone, and I'll give you an example. We have a gene called superoxide dismutase 2. We know that people that die of Lou Gehrig's disease, they have superoxide dismutase 2 extremely impaired. And what you can look at is with radiation, and the more radiation we get here on planet Earth, microwave radiation, microwave, if you look at a microwave and you put food in it, right, it cooks it from the inside out, okay?
It destroys nutrients, yes.
Yeah, it destroys it.
Microwaves were banned in Russia in the 70s.
Yes.
They're okay here in America.
Yeah. Well, many of the cordless phones, some cordless phones are deadlier than cell phones. And the cordless phones here in America are deadlier than cell phones. People don't realize that. And the cordless phones that we have here are banned in many countries. And they still use kind of an analog type phone. Yeah.
Just like our food is banned in a lot of countries too. A lot of chemicals that are used in the food are banned in a lot of countries too. People don't realize this, and it's all about the almighty dollar, and it's
it is. And I also know it's also more about the almighty dollar, that we are an experiment. They look at us like we're a bunch of lab rats. It's the powers that be, the ones in charge, And not only are they making a buck, but that eugenics program that was over in Germany, it kind of came over here into America.
It kind of just got imported here, didn't it?
It got imported here. And now we're seeing this here. And, you don't have to have a Hitler come out and start destroying and killing and stuff. They can just do it through food and pills and medication now. And people do not see things for what they really are right now. And it doesn't take rocket science. you know, the SOD2 gene, that one is, I fear that one the most with people, because you don't even have to have a bad mutation. Like some people are just born with a SOD2 gene, and it's just, it's not if they're going to get Lou Gehrig's disease when because of a certain mutation they have. But we're not going to have that certain SOD2 gene impaired. We're going to have epigenetic expression by an environmental toxin, and it's called microwave radiation. And when microwave radiation comes in and we're getting inundated with it, and it's just going to be even more and more, it starts dehydrating our cells. We see that with a lot of the chronically ill, right? They're constantly dehydrated. They can't keep up their minerals. And I'm one of them, for example. I'm dealing with high levels of thallium and cesium that I've been working on to remove from the body, you know? And thank goodness I know what I know, because like I said, about 10 years ago, I was on hospice. Usually they don't put people on hospice unless they have less than 2 years left, you know? And I mean, look, okay? Does this look like somebody that was on hospice? You know? I know. And I will tell you, I'm not 100% because I am trying to remove radiation out of my body, but it's people like me who are going to be impacted first. So you really got to know what to do. And when your cells get dehydrated, you start running low on hydrogen in your cells. What hydrogen does is tells a mineral we call manganese, say, hey, manganese, I need you to start working here in the cell. So, and then manganese starts working, and then when manganese starts working, it turns on superoxide dismutase 2 that removes reactive oxygen species, free radicals out of the cell. And to kind of simplify how this works, people with chronic fatigue syndrome, for example, they usually have very poor superoxide dismutase 2 activity. So when you exercise, you make ATP, and even though you're making this healthy ATP, it also makes this reactive oxygen species that SOT2 is supposed to remove. So if you tell a professional athlete to do an hour of aerobics, man, after they're done, they're invigorated. They just feel fantastic. But you tell a person with chronic fatigue syndrome to do an hour of aerobics, by minute 30, you're probably going to be calling the morgue. Don't even worry about calling a paramedic. You're going to be calling the morgue because you've done killed them. Because what happens is when they exercise, they make that ATP, they make redox signaling, and they can't control their redox buffer because their hydrogen cannot turn, they're low on hydrogen, so it can't turn on the manganese, get superoxide dismutase working to remove these free radicals, this reactive oxygen species out of the cell. And there's ways that we can fix this. Well, deuterium is one thing. It's commonly found in our drinking water, okay? And you want lower levels of deuterium in the body because deuterium has a larger hydrogen bond that's not going to be able to get into the cell well, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're going to have to, you know, be able to get smaller hydrogen bonds in there to get the cells hydrated. One thing is, I don't like plastic, but Evian is a lower deuterium. It's, you know, they want you below 148 parts per million. This one's around 78 parts per million. So I'm getting more hydrated. So, you know, an alkaline water is not going to hydrate your cells if it's higher in deuterium, if it's over that 148 parts per million. Also, waters like Icelandic, a lot of other glacier waters are lower in deuterium. And then Pellegrina is about 54 parts per million. Now, people are getting depleted deuterium, but it's water, but it's crazy expensive. Like a bottle this size will cost you $100, and then you put an ounce of that into your distilled water and then drink it back, you know. But a lot of people can't afford that. But staying hydrated, and it's really important to ground with Mother Earth. You have got to ground because your redox, you will not control your redox if you are not grounded. You know, I work from home. I don't have on shoes right now. I only wear shoes when I get in my car and I leave. Now, if it's super cold, I might put on my leather moccasins or something because I can still roam with Mother Earth. But for the most part, I'm lucky I live in South Louisiana. No excuse. I
You
can
can go
walk.
outside anytime.
Most of the time, yeah, I can walk out barefoot. And I am, you know, you hear these people about parasites, whatever. Let me tell you something, people. All right, not grounding will kill you faster than bugs in the ground. Now, if you've got, you know, I mean, loads of, you know, contaminated soil, yeah, not healthy. But, you know, you have got to ground with Mother Earth. You have to be grounded. You've got to give yourself time for meditation and thought too. And we have to learn that we have to admit beautiful frequency from within us. So, you know, I deal with a lot of sick and dying people. So a lot of negative comes my way that I've got to learn how to remove it. And myself, I'm sick. You know, people look at me and they don't realize that I've broken my neck, I've fractured my skull, I've dissected my carotid, I'm sliced all the way down here. I don't have this tendon coming down. I've detached all my ligaments. I've been in a wheelchair. I've lost one of my discs in my lower back. I was in a severe car accident. Brain trauma, you wouldn't believe. Brain aneurysm, bleed on brain, stroke, you name it. I have the blood internally, cut from breastbone to pubic bone, hip to hip.
And you've survived it all.
Yes, and I've had organs removed. I've laid in the hospital once, 2.5 months, fighting for my life with pulmonary embolisms because I was not grounded. Polarity was totally upside down. And people with thallium and cesium, your polarium is screwed up, let me tell you. I do a scan called NES biofeedback through Wendy Myers. I love Wendy Myers. Wendy has actually saved my life. Shout out, Wendy. I'm going to make sure she watches this. She's actually saved my life, but we kept seeing on my NES scans that I've got to get back to them, is that thallium, cesium, and potassium was coming up. But when you're loaded down with thallium and cesium, it's radiation, guys. Okay, and I have it, okay? What will happen is the thallium and cesium will start replacing the potassium in your muscle tissue, okay? And then it's bad because it's in there. It puts you into long QT. I started having long QT attacks. They were a disorder because it was replacing potassium in my heart muscle. And then when I went to eat that good, healthy food, that broccoli, all those cruciferous veggies or that egg, high sulfur, that sulfur will start to pull it out. And when that sulfur pulls out the thallium and cesium, it also displaces more potassium. So I discovered thinking I was having allergies to food. What it was doing was, with these sulfur foods, was detoxing the thallium and cesium. Now, on that note, too, a lot of our biol foods, sulfur foods, do contain a lot of radiation, depending on where they're grown. Somebody who's radiation poisoned doesn't want to be eating radiation food because they're putting more in. Whereas if they get their sulfur foods and they know they're not high in things like thallium, then they can eat them and pull that thallium and cesium out of them. Silica's another way. Since Wendy Myers has been wonderful with me, I'm going to do her actual silica. And I always wondered why I always came up severely silica deficient. Well, the minute silica comes in my body, it's being used up to remove all this radiation. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot more silica deficiency in people as well, right? With radiation on board. And we've really got to get this under control. Now, myself, I've kind of built a protective energy field over my house where I'm using soil and I'm using things like crawlers and redworms to fertilize my soil, and I'm growing my own sulfur vegetation so I can eat that and use that as detox. And I have to keep a lot of potassium on board around me. I just can't get potassium like food. I have so much in me, and I'm trying to prevent people from ending up like it's really important. But if I can do this, guys, you can do it, okay? And the reason I glow like I do and stuff is because I do a lot of frequency too. But I'm gonna kind of stop right here so you can kind of start asking questions so I can kind of, you know, what you want to ask, what I should talk to the
Okay,
audience.
well, I'm sure that people are wondering what they can do personally that would help offset some of this 5G that will be coming at them. Now, I know Organite is something that can be
Yeah,
helpful.
Organite is great. You see my phone right here, got Organite on the back of it. I also use some sacred geometry. It helps out a little bit. This is little sacred geometry that I use.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have the same thing. I have this is a Organite piece. This is also William Reich type piece, and then this is shungite on the turtle.
Yeah.
With,
Yeah. And then I've got over by my, you know, my internet stuff over here. I've actually got a glass fish bowl there, and I've got it filled with shungite. I've actually just ordered 10 pounds of shungite. Unfortunately, I have a smart meter, and I'll tell you guys that nightmare. When I bought this house, we didn't have smart meters on the houses. And 2 months later, when I bring my U-Haul from my 6-hour drive down here to move in, there's smart meters. And these homes are very, very close together, and um, they're small. I live very, very modestly in a small home, and the other neighbor smart meters are also facing my direction here. So I also went through Kinrola. I'm fresh and alive, and I got a scalar home shield that emits a 100-foot radius, 7.83 hertz. I'm getting one from my front yard as well. I've got one of his pyramids there in my bedroom to help me go into alpha and theta.
Yeah, I have one of his. This is one of his discs that you can get from him too.
Yeah, he's got some great stuff. Very,
yes,
very.
He does.
I
And
know.
a very positive man too, in terms of solutions for the problems that we're facing.
Oh yes, yes, because there's like right now we have the right to opt out in Louisiana, but my electricity company, Clico, when I called them, I told them I have the right to opt out in Louisiana. I just moved into my home. I do not want the smart meter in my house. At the time, I did not know I had radiation poisoning, and I started getting really sick in this house too, where I started having panic attacks. Ambulances were being called sometimes on a weekly basis, and I was going into long QT because of all the radiation and my potassium displacement. And it was all of a sudden when I moved into this house, pneumonia, coughing up blood, everything. And I still can't get the smart meter up in the house, but I've done a lot of protection now, so there's a big difference here. So we can protect. But when I told them I wanted the smart meter off, they said, well, we've destroyed all the analog meters. I said, well, I can buy one online, have a journeyman put it on, or I can pay you guys to put it on. I do not mind paying for the price. This is my health, because I knew something had to be going on. And they basically told me I was not going to do it. So now I've got an attorney, and we're going to take all my, showing that I have radiation poisoning and stuff, because the radiation poisoning I have, along with the microwave radiation here, is not helping whatsoever. It's really bad.
Well, what they do is they roll these things out without telling people anything about it, just like 5G. Most people think, oh, great, it's going to be, my internet service is going to be faster and better, and they don't even talk about the adverse health effects. And so these corporations get away with sending these things out and using us like lab rats in terms of what the health effects might be.
Oh, yes, they do. When I had if you would have saw me before I started, for instance, doing frequency medicine, frequency is really important. Actually, to get frequency medicine in you too is very helpful because the smart meters, frequency's bad. We've got to fight frequency with frequency, guys.
Now, did you work with your city council concerning 5G? That's what people need to do, isn't it? In order to
yes, they do. Actually, here we haven't done it here yet. We call our counties parishes and St. Tammany Parish, but I did go over to Orleans Parish. It's the one next to me, New Orleans Parish. And I helped them just this last week where they canceled the meeting on us. And I was I was completely disgusted. A good friend of mine, I call her our alternative journalist of New Orleans, the one you can actually get real news from.
Real news from, yeah, that's hard to get nowadays, isn't it?
And her and her friend Mark set everything up and said, hey, we need to get you in. And there's actually somebody else here that studies 5G and the harming, damaging effects. And when he was asked to come, he was like, it's too late, you know. Oh, everybody's going to get sick and stuff. It's never too late. And basically, I don't want to put names out there, but, you know, shame on him. You know, shame on him. You know, shame on him. You know, stop what you're doing. I stopped what I was doing that day. I mean, I was booked up with consults, clients, and everything, and meetings, and building, you know, new apps. I'm actually trying to build a app showing what radiation, what DNA will be damaged. And it was really upsetting, but we had like Dr. Paul and a few others that were going to call in to the New Orleans City Council meeting for us. And it kind of got pushed back until February. What I think that happened is when they saw our CVs, you know, when we were told to turn them in, who would be speaking, they kind of said, oh gosh, we can't send the C students in from Sprint, Verizon, AT&T to the city council meeting. We're going to have to delay this sucker and bring in the big guns. So I think that's what's happened. Well, I got a nice, good brain right here. I'm very.
Well. It works well.
That the city, one of the men from the city council came up and talked to us, and as we're in here trying to explain this all to him, my friend Raphael, which, you know, she's great to follow. She goes by Nola, N-O-L-A, Butterfly on YouTube. She's a great journalist. She studies chemtrails, Doppler weather radar, 5G, everything.
It's called, what is it called again?
NOLA, N-O-L-A, Butterfly, NOLA, Butterfly. NOLA stands for New Orleans. It's abbreviation for New Orleans, Louisiana. NOLA, Butterfly, N-O-L-A.
Butterfly, okay.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. And I saw Raphael basically blow her lid when this man said, well, we're not so much worried about 5G as we are our CO2 issues, and you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And then I knew Raphael was gonna just go up batty on him, because they've already proven, for instance, the Doppler radar, the microwave radiation, and the water vapor is one of the big issues of why we have CO2 issues, and one of the biggest issues, you know. And so she did lose it on him, but you know, they just don't want to hear it. But you know when they're going to want to hear it? When their children start dying and start getting sick. Okay, we're already getting sick from all this microwave radiation, and it's a lot more, you know. So you know, we've got to understand first what comes first, the chicken or the egg. So I would love to, in a minute, start talking about kind of how these environmental toxins, what they do to our body, and then how we get these crystals up in our body. And then when we walk, for instance, up next to a smart meter, we have 5G just vibrating, pinging through us because it's on every pole, every 50 foot. What's going to happen is our calcium channels, you know, are just going to start shining like crazy. And we're
People might not know what that means when you explain that. Could you simplify that a little bit?
All right, to kind of simplify it, well, let's start at what happens in your body and as a bodily system in your GI tract. For instance, we've always known that fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, right?
Right. So
Okay.
it kills the gut bacteria too.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to tell you, it's not actually the fluoride that calcifies it, but what the fluoride does to the gut that causes the calcification. So I'll explain that to you now.
Oh,
so
that's
fluoride will eventually deplete a beneficial gut bacteria we have in our GI tract called Oxalobacter foragine. Oxalobacter foragine, along with B6, work together to remove something in our body called calcium oxalate crystal. Now, for instance, things like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard are very, very high in dietary oxalate. They're great for you, but they're not great for you if you start to run out of things like Oxalobacter foragine and or B6, because they work together at removing them. So when this happens, you get this buildup of calcium oxalate crystal, and it not only calcifies your pineal gland, but we know now, for instance, atherosclerosis is not, all that plaque is not caused from cholesterol, people. It's a big fat nut. Guess what? When you
That's been
go
alive for a long time.
when you take a cadaver and you dissect that and you open it up and you look at that plaque, it's calcium oxalate crystal and other organic matter like heavy metals and also minerals, because calcium oxalate crystal, if you could imagine a kitchen magnet, you take slithers of metals and minerals and put next to it, what happens? Stick, right?
Yes.
Well, guess what? That's what calcium oxalate crystal does. So they're chelators of metals and minerals, and you have all this stuff laying all over your body now, and it loves to go to damaged tissues and organs in the body. So where you're most damaged at is where it's going to go. Okay, and so this fluoride, all this fluoridation we started getting in our water in the mid 90s, right? That's when they started really heavily fluoridating.
And it's amazing they wear these big hazmat suits and they're putting it in drinking water. It just, you know, what are people thinking? You know, that's
I know. It's good for you. Drink the poison. Okay, it's really good for you. It wipes out your oxalobacter foragine, and you can no longer break down and remove calcium oxalate crystal, and then boom, calcification of pineal gland. Okay, calcification of arteries. 92% of gallstones, kidney stones are calcium oxalate crystal. They love going to damaged tissues and organs. So, you know, I broke my neck. Guess where I have calcium oxalate stones? I don't pass them through my kidneys or my gallbladder. I pass them right through here, my salivary glands. I have all this damage up in here, and I damaged my back vertebral artery here in my car accident, major damage to it. So when I was going through all these surgeries, as they did an angiogram, they were like, wow, everything looks beautiful in you. Then we get back here and you're loaded down with atherosclerosis in your vertebral artery. Well, yeah, I broke my neck. I started building up calcium oxalate crystal, and it's going to my damaged tissues and arteries. But to let you know that there's other things besides fluoride that does this. Cycline antibiotics are infamous for removing oxalobacter foragine, okay, depleting it.
And you know, people get those antibiotics in the meat that they eat.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Growth hormones. We get the antibiotics.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So we're eating
That's very difficult to do.
meat. Now this gets even worse. Okay, in the mid 90s, as they decided to mass fluoridate us. Now this kind of you're going to look at it and you're going to feel like, man, this has to be intentional because it was all thrown at us at once. Then these fluoroquinolones come out, right? Fluoroquinolones are Cipro and Levaquin, Avelox, Fluoxetine, Tequin. We have hundreds of thousands of people injured. I mean, we have people that commit suicide because of the pain they go through them. You think just fluoride alone and cycling antibiotics calcify pineal gland? A fluoroquinolone will permanently cement your pineal gland. Okay, it is toxic. Cipro and Levaquin, one Cipro, for example, or one Levaquin can wipe out, just instantaneously wipe out one oxalobacter formagene.
One dose.
Boom, that's it.
And you can't get it back? There's no way to recover it?
You can get it back, but it's hard, and I will tell you how to do it. Okay, so these people that are worried about getting fluoride out, and stuff, guys, you got to get your oxalobacter formagene back. Okay, we've got to get it back, and you've got to get the good B6 activity, especially with what's to come, because I'm getting ready to correlate it with microwave radiation. So that's the other thing that wipes it out. Now, I've been sent to Washington, D.C. in the past. Hold on, let me hang this up. I've been sent to Washington, D.C. in the past. I know you've interviewed my friend Stephanie Staff, right? From MIT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dr. Stephanie, yeah.
Her and I went to Washington, D.C. with several other people, Zen Honeycutt from Moms Across America.
Oh, yes, I know her too, Zen. Yeah. Zen. She's a powerhouse.
I wouldn't want to be in Zen's bad side, and I'm glad I'm not, because she's an awesome.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't want to be an evil chemical manufacturer, because
she's good, though. I have a lot of respect for her.
Oh, she's tough. We need her.
Yeah,
kudos to Zen. And then we went with people like Barry Vrain, who was in biotechnology, Jay Feldman from Beyond Pesticides. Barry actually has a great TED Talk. He left biotechnology when he found out that GMOs were poison and killing people. And we went up with also Ben Dobson, another TED speaker who's resustaining chemical-ridden farms, glyphosate-ridden farms that Dow, Bayer, Monsanto say you can't grow anything anymore. He gets them and resustains them organic within 2 years. Then also Stephen France, who used to work with the CDC, who studied etymology, the study of bugs, which is really important, and saw that, hey, if we don't get rid of GMOs and glyphosate, we're going to extinct many, not only bugs, but things like the fruit bat, which is America's #1 pollinator, and the bee, the honeybee. Many species out there. But why I'm getting at this, when we went to DC, what people don't realize is that Roundup, glyphosate, Roundup.
It's in everything now.
Everything, guys. I call Monsanto, Monsatan.
So
and I call glyphosate, which is what Roundup is, glyphosate. And I spell not G-L-Y, but G-L-I-E. Okay, because that's what it is. Okay, it's a big lie. It's killing you. And I'm going to tell you why it was patented in the biochemistry of how and why it was patented as an antibiotic about 5 years ago. So when glyphosate Roundup, also called N-phosphonylmethylglycine, which is a synthetic glycine that is replacing the amino acid glycine in your body. So you are replacing an amino acid with a chemical, okay?
Right, so you're making a weak protein tissue then.
Yeah, and then your curly ribbons on your DNA, those are your proteins, they're breaking off now, okay, from glyphosate. That's what I like to call it. All right, call it what it is. Bring that darkness into light, because that's what it is, guys.
Yes, I agree 100%.
And,
I've been
right.
talking against GMOs for a long time, and so many people just don't think it's much of an issue, and it's a big issue. It's sad.
We've evolved with plants. You mess with the genetics of plants, you mess with the genetics of everything on planet Earth. Period. That's just common sense. And they know it. Okay. So in the mid 90s, as you're getting the fluoride in the water and you're getting these new fluoroquinolones to save your life. Yeah, right. Because there are other antibiotics out there that can save lives. Okay, guys. And then you're getting now the Roundup in 1996, right? Being sprayed on your food, being used as a desiccant.
Where did it ever seem like a good idea to put poison on your food in the first place? And we have the poison experts, Monsanto.
Yeah, sarcastically speaking, shouldn't you trust the people who brought you DDT and Agent Orange to give you something safe? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is satanic. It's demonic, guys. And anyways, so Roundup, what it does is it shunts into calcium oxalate crystal. Now they've wiped out with all this fluoride and all these antibiotics, especially the fluoroquinolones. Let's wipe out their gut microbiome, and specifically that oxalobacter formagene, and let's add glyphosate into the food, Roundup, and it shunts into calcium oxalate crystal. Well, let me tell you what an overload of calcium oxalate crystal does, guys. Okay? All right. This is why and how Roundup was patented as an antibiotic, because it shunts into calcium oxalate crystal. Calcium oxalate crystal kills the shikimate pathway of your microbial. I'm sure you learned that from Stephanie Smith, right? So your microbial, your gut bugs, have this shikimate pathway, and these tiny glass microscopic shards, crystal shards, rip up the shikimate pathway, make their guts explode, and they die. Well, this is kind of why when you go and some of the foods that you see that are most commonly in the fresh produce section are things like kale, spinach, and Swiss chard. It's very easy for an organic farmer to grow them, because when the scouter bug comes out and says, oh, let me go see if this leafy green is going to be good for my other bugs to come and eat, it nibbles on the leaf, and then sometimes, for instance, with spinach, it's so high in calcium oxalate crystal, it doesn't even make it back. Its guts explode and it dies. So, you don't have to use all these things to spray and protect spinach, for example, because it has Mother Nature's natural calcium oxalate crystal in it. Okay, now, all right, we could consume it. So before we had our gut microbiome wiped out by all these things, and we had that good B6 activity and the good oxalobacter formagene, we could eat that spinach and stuff, and our body would say, oh, hold on to 1 to 2%, dump the rest, because we have this glycine cleavage system, okay, that needs actual real glycine now. This is the big kicker, okay? You're taking in this methylglycine that is replacing the amino acid glycine for you, and you have this glycine cleavage system that needs the real, actual glycine that your body resonates and vibrates with, and not this fake crap that's replacing it, to hold on to 1 to 2%, because you do need to hold on to that 1 to 2%, but with your oxalobacter formagene and your B6 activity would dump the rest, okay? Now what's going to happen, okay, right, is now you've got all these environmental factors, then you've got the chemtrails, guys. I want you to go look up on chemtrails and see what a lot of the toxins are bonded with. Ammonium oxalate.
BAAL.
Ammonium oxalate. Do you see that oxalate on the end of it? Okay, that's your nanites. That's your organic nanites and nanites coming in at you. Okay, they're little beacons. They're crystals, and they carry metals and stuff, and they sit in you. Okay, aluminum oxide. You look at it, you name it. People are not seeing this part of the country. Okay, right. So they're mid-90s. They start doing this. They were doing this in the mid-90s, starting this on us. And do you see how it all started around the mid-90s? It was like the
Yes.
start of a soft kill. It's a start of a soft kill. Now you want to jump into moderate kill? Start putting smart meters on everybody's houses. And let's put 5G. Let's put them every 50 foot and emit all this microwave radiation. Well, you can go look on YouTube. I forget the name of the guy's channel. All you have to do on YouTube is put in the words smart meter and EKG. And they take this man's blood pressure and they have him on an EKG. Beautiful EKG readings, beautiful blood pressure. But when they have a journeyman that he turns on the smart meter while the doctor's doing his blood pressure, blood pressure, EKG, and then he sees disruption in the EKG. And one of the channels that is disrupted is the calcium channel. Now, what happens when your body is overloaded with all this crystal? Okay, it starts shunting through the channel, and guess what it does? Calcifies your cells in your body, so your water and your light cannot get in. That's your frequency. That's what you vibrate on. That's what makes you you. They are stealing your light. Now, I want you to realize now that transporters in your body, okay? And what these transporters do is they're called sulfate anion transporters. They are not only responsible for transporting sulfate, but they are responsible for transporting sulfate as well and oxalate. For instance, glutathione is a sulfur-based molecule. Okay,
Yeah, important.
We run out. We will eventually die, right?
Right.
Okay. And you can tell the people that are not getting glutathione in them. I mean, wrinkled, dry, dehydrated, no shine to them. You see it, and you're like, you feel so bad for them, you know. I mean, even everything I've been through, I know to get this sulfate. I know how to get this glutathione, even though I'm still detoxing. Okay, and if you would have looked at me just a couple of years ago when all this really started, I look 20 years older than what I do now because I'm rehydrated now. You know, I know how to bypass all this.
That's something that I wanted you to go into too. About it's related to the being hydrated, but it's also the oxygen. I see so many people that are already on oxygen, and we talked about this a little bit before, that it's going to be even harder for them to get oxygen.
Yeah, it's going to be harder. And, you know, we talk about this deuterium, and guys, carbohydrates, the hydrogen bond, the deuterium, carbs, man, you're not going to be able to get things like hydrogen, oxygen, water, light, mineral in your cells. Okay. What we know is that many to most people are going to have to be, extremely minimal carb, ketogenic. Our vegans, that's the ones I'm very scared for most, that our vegans are going to have to learn how to be vegan ketogenic. It is possible and it is doable. I tell people, Dr. Toni Bark, who did the documentary Bought, follow her. She is vegan, ketogenic, and healthy as a horse.
That's what I remember you said that. I'm going to have to look into that because I envision a lot of avocados and a lot of nuts. To remain vegan and or vegetarian, however vegan's stricter than vegetarian.
Yeah. I'm more of a kind of vegetarian person. I do, and I hate doing it, but I have to because of my health, and it's, I can't do the synthetic A, D, E, and K. So I do have to do just a little bit of grass-fed beef liver every week, but I'm more of a kind of, you know, do my things like egg and fish kind of person. Salmon, lots of salmon. I do lots of seafood, but I try to stay away from the mercury stuff.
Certainly not any of the farm salmon.
Avocado, I can't. It just, everybody's body's different. But I have very good friends that are vegan and thrive very well, but they are definitely going to have to be ketogenic. You know, for instance, me, I almost every day I take turnip greens, mustard greens, collard greens. I grow a lot of my food right now out in my front yard, and I just put them in a pot, and then I'll throw in a big, since I can't have a lot of vegetable-based fats, I'll throw in like the big hunk of ghee butter, and you know, just eat that fat or duck fat in there, and I'll eat that fat in the green. I make sure I have lots of greens. I do have berries as well, you know, like blueberries and strawberries and stuff. And I actually am growing my own strawberries now as well. They'll be out by March, April. Yay! Louisiana, which is a good thing. For instance, you know, strawberries block the absorption of mercury, you know.
Which of course you want the organic strawberries, not
you do not want, especially if you have thyroid issues, you don't want to do that. But we're definitely going to, you know, for instance, the cell phone here, they've done where they've looked at thermography and boom, up to the head, you know, you'll see a bright red, right? When they do thermography in the cell phone up to the head. And then they've also realized poor glucose metabolism in the brain when you do that. So that's radiation.
I know, I cringe when I see people putting their phone up against their head. I'm going, oh my gosh. You
know, I have to stay on the computer quite a bit with dealing with people, and what I'll do, I'll get their reports and I'll handwrite it all on paper. So I'm only on the computer for 10 minutes, and I'm talking to them for a couple of hours, but I sit here with my corded phone, guys. You see that corded?
Oh, good. Yeah, maybe I should get one of those.
Yeah.
I'm getting afraid of my cell phone, to tell you the truth.
I had my shungite towers coming in too. Guys, shungite is cheap. You know, a lot of people can't go out and get this home shield that I have in my backyard, and I'm getting another one. Okay, I have to make loans to get that, and then I have to pay off the loans, interest and stuff, because I'm not made of money either. But I am blessed enough to where I can make those loans and pay it off, though. And so, I mean, just also, I got to kind of tell you, I would like to also talk about what's happening, what the radiation's doing in our cells, what's doing with positively uncharged toxins too, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead, please.
All right. So, all right, we have this radiation, and what it does is it positively ion charged toxins to flourish in our body. Like, for instance, mold, when it dies, it creates mycotoxin.
Yes.
And the mycotoxin is dead, but it flourishes on a positive ion charge. So, you know, you have mold, and then you have it die off into mycotoxin. It's sitting in your house. With the smart meter, it grows 600-fold. I don't know if you guys can see, probably back here, I have that little glowing device up there. That's a high-tech, captures mold and mycotoxin. Not many, there's only a few things out there that also capture the mycotoxin. So that's one thing I do have in my house, but these things are positively ion-charged toxins. That's like H. pylori, it's positively ion-charged. So now we're seeing a lot of people with gut issues. Oh yeah, you get H. pylori, and then you've got all this radiation around you. Smart meters, you know, next it's 5G. Man, this H. pylori is going to grow like crazy. So a lot of these, we're getting inundated with positively ion-charged toxins. So there's a few things that you can do here. Let me go get a bottle of, I'm going to show you this water that I've got.
Yeah, yes, that'd be great, Bud. Thank you.
This is interesting. This water here, it's called Wata,
Wata.
A-double-H.
Creative, yeah.
Because what? It's negatively ion charged. This 1 ounce of this is like drinking 16 ounces of regular water. It hydrates the cell big time. Boom, bam, bam. And it's a negatively ion charge. So what it will do is pull out positively ion toxins. So a lot of people are starting to do this. I would suggest that if anybody does this that's super sick, like how I started with Wata, is I did where I would just take my water and charge it. I would charge my water and then put 3, 6, 9, or 12 drops in it, you know, so it could resonate with this water. Drink it back, okay? And then I started after a couple of days, then, hey, grab a capful and drink it, you know, now and drink it the next day, because knowing that all the years of my illness, broken neck, everything else, permanent blood-brain barrier leakage, all the stuff I have going on, there's a lot of toxins in me. I'm loaded down with toxins, right? So I didn't want to start pulling out the toxins too fast, because that's never a fun deal. So I always tell people that are super sick to go slow. But this water will, guess what this water does? When your polarity's upside down, it will repolarize. It repolarizes you. So polarity is so important. And people that have off polarity are the people who have dehydrated cells in their potassium, magnesium, sodium are imbalanced. Their polarity's messed up. We, you know, with radiation, I deal with a potassium issue. If I don't have potassium pushing in me as I'm pulling out this radiation, my polarity's a mess. It'll show up on my NES biofeedback that my polarity screwed up. And this can help with polarity. And meditation, guys, meditation, okay? And stop being angry, okay? There are some days that I wake up because of having 3 discs that have healed wrong, okay? 3 discs that have healed wrong. All the detachments, the weather change, I have a permanent blood-brain barrier leakage from all this, okay? And I get the wrong bit of something in my gut, it goes straight to my brain, all right? And I wake up, I've woken up sometimes in so much pain, and I know what pain is, guys. I've done the lead out 24 units of blood, broken neck, everything else, laying in the hospital fighting for my life for 2.5 months. I know what pain is, and I'm telling you, there's sometimes where I wake up in just all holy moly pain. And what I do, I don't care how much pain I'm in, I shout out to the universe. I am healing. I am loved. I am light. I am beautiful. Guys, tell yourself this every day. Wake up with a good attitude. You wake up with a good frequency. I do that. I hop on over to my meditation. Sometimes I can wipe out 80 to 90% of my pain. Okay? Not all of it. It's sometimes 80 to 90%. There's just those days I still have just bad, horrible days, and I have to lay in bed all day. But as bad as I feel, I shout out to the universe, I am healing. This is really important, especially that we are around all this negative microwave radiation. We need to be positive more than ever. And that's where I'd probably like to kind of also, I know there's one more thing before I want to talk about that, about negative ion charge. Now, Kinrola also has something that's dirt cheap. It's about 25 bucks. It's a little ceramic ball that you can put in your bath water, and it will send a negative ion charge to your bath water, so you can start pulling positively ion charged
Oh, I
toxins.
haven't seen that one. I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
it's a little ceramic ball. And I mean, this is awesome, guys. I mean, these are simple things that many people can afford, okay? And that can help you fix your polarity. Polarity is important. Grounding, polarity,
Is everything.
positive attitude. Okay, it means so much. But you know, I'd also like to kind of talk about you know, the meditation, the frequency, the love we have to admit, guys. Like I said in the beginning, all right, we have all this hate, all these politicians killing off one another right now, this, you know, this corrupt government that's trying to take one world order, that's trying to actually take over our world. I mean, and forced vaccinations, all this negative stuff, rioting, where, you know, we go to war and we murder people over oil and money and control. Not, we never go to war to help mankind. It's always something about money and war and control and stuff. Okay, we have all this hate going on. You know, I am very involved in the vaccine community because I had a son that was vaccine injured. I have a lot of friends, my good friend Sheila Ely, from me and her, a friend, she's from New Orleans, played on fax and stuff. I deal with all this. I see all this hate in the world, all this death, people murdering people and stuff. And what we're doing on this planet, we're feeding the demons. We're letting them win when we let all this out. We have to resonate love. As bad as it is out there and stuff, I see the bad stuff every day. I have people call me because their baby died after a vaccine and they're angry. They want to share their stories and stuff and everything. We've got to let go of the hate. We've got to forgive. We've got to love at the end of the day. Let go of, you know, what your sister did to you 10 years ago, and you're never going to talk to that stupid whatever again. Let it go. Love, love. When my sister sees this, I love you, sister. I love all my sisters. I have a stepsister, a half sister, full sister.
We're all connected, and that's the part that people forget. You put out bad stuff into the universe, you're bringing
love.
Everybody.
You gotta love the world. You know, it's, you know, I lived that wild life. I lived that kind of party life and stuff. Now, you know where I'm happiest at? I live outside of the city. I actually live in the swamps, guys. I'm a swamp girl. So, yeah, you know, you get a picture of in Hollywood, the swamp girl kind of looks kind of crazy and whatever, you know. But I live out in the swamps with my 6 fur angels, and I made my front yard this little mini paradise. I'm 20 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico. I can go right on the lake. I'm about 10 minutes from Lake Pontchartrain, and I can enjoy all this nature and stuff. I don't want to be around all that loud stuff. And what's really important too, guys, get away from television. It is corrupt to the core. They send you subliminal messages. I've actually seen where people have fought with their cameras because the camera catches what the naked eye can't.
I saw that. I saw that. The one, the lady that had the great big thing and it said kill and it, yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, big white screen with big letters kill and stuff. All right, this is evil and demonic what's going on, and I'm going to tell you what we've talked about today with all stuff that ruins your GI tract and then causes all this crystal buildup and you can't get it out. And then that's supposed to be your water and light and, you know, your frequency and all of it's supposed to go into your cell and make you you and stuff. They're capturing your light, your essence, what makes you you. And then they're feeding off of all this hate. There is you know, when you heal, you must heal mind, body, and spirit. And there is not only a malevolent presence here, but there is a benevolent, and you want to feed through the benevolent. Feed love. Love is the key, guys. Okay. I wake up every morning and I am one of the happiest people in the world because I have 6 beautiful fur angels that come up and start kissing me and loving me. And you know what? When they run outside barefoot, because I don't put shoes on my dogs like some of these fancy people do. So when they're running outside in the yard barefoot and they come and jump in my king size bed with me, they bring electrodes into my bed to help me ground at night too. Okay, get with earth, get with nature. You know, I'm not telling everybody to go get 6 dogs because a lot of people can't handle that. I'm just a nature girl now.
Oh, so am I. So am I. I love nature. I don't get out in it as much as I'd like to.
Yeah. Well, I have nature all around me. I have a 4-foot egret. I call him my spirit bird. His name is George. I've named him George. I think he's one of my kind of spirit birds there. And he hangs out with me, with my dogs. They all get along. So yeah, I give him a little salmon from time to time. He loves it. But you know, it's really important at this message, and the message is to get right, admit the frequency. I can kind of tell you, we've done experiments with this, where we've had a home without a smart meter on it, and we've measured the frequency in it with tri-meters, and the energy looks good in there. And then we've gone to a church with a smart meter on it, and it's empty, and we've measured the frequency in there, and the energy doesn't look so hot with that smart meter on it. But then we've taken a group of people and put into our house without the smart meter that had good energy, and we told them to use bad intention to fight. And when we measure the energy, it's almost as if it has the same energy as that church with the smart meter. But then we've gone to the church that has a smart meter on it after a sermon, a loving sermon is let out, and measure the frequency. And it's real low, like there's not even a smart meter on it. So do you see what I've just told you? Okay, we can beat this with love. With love. Okay, we have got to release our frequency. We've got to fight frequency with frequency, guys. Love is the key. Love is gonna get us out of this. And you know, we've had all these children that have come in now that are all brain damaged. And I believe it is the people like me and Gail who are very open and spiritual, and all of you guys that are out there very open and spiritual. We were supposed to be guides for them, and they were going to be the ones that were awake and using a little more of their DNA in helping us go into our next level. But something evil and dark here brain damaged them, so they could not do this. So now we're bringing this darkness into light because the waves are still going to come in. And as we bring this darkness into this light and we share this and we get this word out to people, the darkness will never win. The light will always overcome. The good frequency will take out the bad. And we've just got to keep on moving on in that direction. If I can end with anything, it would be that love is important.
I agree with you 110%, Sterling. That is what the world needs now is love. 528 hertz, to say the least.
Yes, we do. I love my 528. Yes. I resonated all the time. And, you know, in meditation too, please, meditation. I love watching. I never knew about Scott, and your interviews is where I got to know him. Now I'm also following him, and I'm learning how to hew. And I only after 3 days of hewing, I was like, boom, and not during the day, but in my sleep, I was out there, and I was had all these green auras around me. It was beautiful, and was like, oh, wow. He said 30 days. Well, I guess kind of, you know, I already try to admit that love and that positive attitude. So maybe it happened a little faster with me. But I would love to follow him more too and eventually meet him. He seems like,
Yes, I think you would find it very rewarding. It has been for me.
yes, I know you are awesome. And you know what, lady? We've got to get you out there more because you're interviewing some very interesting people. I like your channel and who you've interviewed so far. You've got some great people that you're interviewing and getting the word out for people.
Thank you, and you're one of those great people. So thank you so much, and I think we probably should close this so it doesn't look too long, and I don't want to turn anybody off because of the length of it. And
just love, guys. Love the world. Okay, as bad as it is, it's still good. Bring out that love because you're going to take that bad and turn into good, that dark into light by love.
We're looking for that 100th monkey effect of love so that it's in the collective consciousness by everyone. And a small number can go a long ways.
Oh, yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Thank you so much, Sterling. I'm going to shut off the recording now. Thank you, audience. I hope you enjoyed the show.